Hello, hello. Necronaut here. Today we are playing Oriental Empires, as you can see on screen. It's another one of my favorite games, really. Really liked city builders and civilization type games. And this adds a little bit of flair to the whole process by introducing sort of real-time. Well, not real time. It's like every turn you take, when you move troops around, you don't actually like move them on your turn. You can only set up orders and set up like behavior of your troops. So you don't directly control what your troops do in combat. And I find that very fascinating. Actually, it's a very interesting mechanic. It's a little bit wonky at times, but I really enjoy the game. So I wanted to showcase it. And I'm gonna be running a series of this type of game, I think, and maybe do a series of each faction, maybe, we'll see. For now, we're gonna set up a grand campaign, and let's see here. I think I want to play as... the Han, because I like crossbows. It's in the middle of everything, and well, it's an interesting starting position, at least. Difficulty normal. I haven't really messed around with hard or very hard. I don't really know what the benefits or negatives are. If it impacts the player negative, or if it increases the smarts of the AI, or if it just gives them flat bonuses. I haven't researched any of that. I might between games, if we manage to win sufficiently, well enough, I'll maybe bump it up to hard, maybe very hard, we'll see. But for now, let's jump in and I'll show you. I really like the game. This game is really good because it just starts instantly, and you can just press buttons. You can press load to any game you have saved. It'll take like 2 seconds to load. I don't have this game installed on an SSD or anything. Just it's so well optimized. Oh, it's so good. Notice a little bit of screen tearing when I do that. I'll try not to do that. So this is the game. We are set in ancient China. It's before the Warring States period, and well, the grand campaign that we picked is us starting with one town, a settler, and a king, I think. Well, a chieftain at the very least. So this is the UI. Money, turns, advisor. You can see your towns here, your troops here, and well, general, everything that happens on a turn. Down here we have our faction. I don't think you can press anything here. No, you can't. This is the culture. It's well, let's read it. What it says. It affects trade value to other powers. It's I think there's a culture victory. It also affects happiness, but I think it only affects happiness for noblemen. Let's see. Noble unrest. We don't have any culture right now, so it's hard to say. I think faction effect. No, it doesn't matter. We'll see later on. Authority helps you do edicts, and it also helps lower unrest if you have too many towns. What else is there to say about that? Nothing for now. We have diplomacy, we haven't found anyone yet. We have technology, there are 4 different types of technologies. We have a bonus in power, which is directly represented as farming and military, I think, yes. Because, well, you gotta feed your troops and your people, and you gotta fight, right? And crafts represent armor technology, weapon technology, a different type of economical technologies that increase trade value and things like that. There are 3 different yes, 3 different eras, sort of. We start in the early Bronze Age, then we move on to the Warring States, and then we move on to the Imperial era. The fun happens like in the Warring States and the Imperial era. The beginning of the game is mostly just expanding and early fights and fighting with peasants and the like. Let's see here, I'm just gonna do something really quick. I should have set this up before I started recording, it doesn't matter. Let's start out. My cat is meowing up a storm as usual. Thought is in the beginning is generally just culture and authority improvements. Yes, it also unlocks some edicts. It allows some like buildings that help repress people, stuff like that. Knowledge is it's generally bonuses. For example, here it like reduces event repercussions. It also helps you helps your people survive after a battle. It also increases. Well, every tech tree has the development rate increase. I think doesn't matter. Anyway. We have edicts. Right now we can only do Grand Commandment. I don't want to do this because authority is really important in the beginning, and if I press this button too many times, it's bad. It just creates a general character, which is sort of like your faction leader at the beginning. Your faction leader is an actual person that you can run around with, and you can have heirs and stuff like that. And depending on your faction leader's personal authority, I think he suppresses or makes people happy in towns, and there are 2 different stats I'll show you for that. Here's the economy. It tells everything it needs to tell, really. The whole game last turn, expenses, so you can really see where all the money is going. Nothing's really hidden. Here's our faction. Han, power, development rate increased by 20, increased peasant happiness by 10, extra kill chance with crossbows, reduced combat effectiveness, because we rely on crossbows and we're cowardly like that, you know. We're also a farming faction. There are 2 different types of factions in the game, farmers and herders, and they get food differently. It doesn't really matter in the beginning because it's hard to tell. I'll show you when and if we start up a herding faction. It'll happen. Victories, there are 4 different victories. I put in a turn limit, which means the points victory is active. If you don't put in a turn limit, this victory condition here will be disabled. Conquest, we have to control 65% of the total population in the game. Son of Heaven is, well, you get elected as Emperor. You need to have 75% of the game's population recognize you as Emperor. You can do that through like paying people off in diplomacy or beating people in wars and stuff like that. Cultural victory as well, 50% points. You must have at least 50 culture victory points and have 50% more culture victory points than the second highest player. Here's the culture and authority, and it'll tell you like where everything comes from. And you can automate technology, you can automate new settlements, you can automate farming, but I tend to want to do these things myself. And here's the score graphs. I don't really look at these. It doesn't matter to me. Alright, so what I like about this game is like you can zoom out very far and the map is huge. I think all the maps are, I think the map is always the same size. For example, you can go very far north. There's nothing up here. And there's nothing out here, for example, because there's mostly water. But I think you can set up custom games that has different custom size of the map, but the Warring States and the Grand Campaign map is always the same size, and I think all the factions always start at the same. Oh, hold on. Sorry, my cat is being a little bit of a rascal. What was I saying? All the factions start in the same locations, I think. The difference between the Grand Campaign and the Warring States campaign is that here you start with one town, start with one settler and your faction. Well, it depends on what type of faction. I think one faction starts with an heir and a soldier, I can't remember. But the Warring States, you start out with already established cities, and it creates a border and a little bit more intense fighting, but it also reduces the technology rate. So you spend a lot more time in the Warring States era, and it's more combat intensive, I think. And you might run one of those campaigns and see how it is. So now that we are here. This is our town, Zheng. This is the income from the town here. We can see the food and where it's coming from. 10 population here is currently farming. If we start constructing, let's see here. If I, for example, wanted to start producing a bowyer, I'm just gonna press build and start it up. You can see that 40% of the population started building the bowyer, which means that only 60% of the population is farming, and I think that lowers the amount of food you get every turn, so it's not really it's not recommended to really build a lot in the beginning. I tend to want to build farms to increase the food output. You can see you can build farms here, you can chop wood, I think it clears marshes as well, maybe. You can build roads, and then there's external buildings, like mines, for example, or harbors. If we had a navigable river, I think I'm going to put a town up here and I can show you how it works. You can build a quay, I don't remember how it's pronounced, it doesn't matter. You can also build things like pavilions, which increases the noble happiness and increases culture. There are also shrines that increases peasant happiness, I think, or it might just be culture it increases. I know for a fact you can build temples, which increases peasant happiness, and then you can upgrade it to a Buddhist temple or a Taoist temple or stuff like that. Up here you have the building page. You can see the constructed ones. We have wooden palisade in our capital, and we have a town. Food, noble unrest. You can see everything. Dissatisfaction comes from local factors and insufficient authority, because we have no authority. We can see the labor, where it's coming from, how much growth we have. The amount of growth is shown there. This button is for recruitment. For now we can recruit one of each here. It's a noble unit, noble axemen. These are the only units with armor, I think, in the beginning. Peasant units have a little bit of armor, but if you look at them, it's like they have a shirt. They have a shield, a spear, and a shirt. That's all they have. Noble axemen actually have armor, which is good, because it prevents them from dying. I can show you the stats here. Attack 10, which is good, defense 14, which is also good, armor 9, movement, and morale. And all the different type of units have different type of stats here, which is there's just so much you can do with this. I like it. It's very good. May return to recruitment pool when disbanded in friendly territory. Ooh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. Let's see here. Do that. There we go. Whenever you recruit a civilian unit, here a settler for example, you will actually remove people from your global population. We're actually gonna do this. This is always my opening move. Recruit one of those, and it takes 2 population to do that. But it's good because you can send out people in different directions. I don't actually know if the other faction starts the palisade wall in the capital, if it's just the Han. As you can see, as I was showing before, you can zoom out really far and you can zoom in really close, which is amazing, I think. I mean, just look at this. There we go. You don't really see this in civilization games now, do you? Hello, my citizens. It's amazing, actually. Just love it. I love it. Hello, peasants. You selling things? Standing around looking nice? Yeah, I like your hat, dude. Suspending it with your hair. Nice. Some non-Japanese geisha people. It's not really geisha, so whatever. These are also, like, these are not physical buildings, they are just there to make the map look a little bit better. But I think it looks pretty nice. Here we have our faction leader, Sushi. You can flip him around, and here you go. Can we see who is the general? Is it this guy maybe? Who knows? You can see he has a very sweet ass bronze plated vest, scaled vest. I don't remember what it's called really. I might look that up between videos. But it's a special type of armor that the Chinese have. They have square shields and they have dagger axes. Except for him, he has a bronze sword and a bronze helm. Otherwise, this is nice. I like it. Then we have the settlers, which is just population and some wagons. They can't really defend themselves if you get them stuck in combat. Well, they're gonna die. You can see you can settle on almost any tile. You cannot settle on mountains or forest. What I haven't been talking about is... hold on. There we go. It is selected. There are different types of special resources. For example, every like normal tile here is fertile plains. Fertile plains next to rivers are really good because you can irrigate them later on and just increase the food output. You can get across this river here by spending like double movement, I think. Maybe it'll take one turn to do that. I can't remember how the calculation works, but you cannot, for example, run over here because it's too big of a river. You're gonna have to find a choke point like here, I think, in order to get to the other side, or you can build boats. But that's, well, like, phew, what's a boat really? We don't know what a boat is yet. So, as I was saying, special resources, rhinos just increase food and increases tax. Yes, it doesn't increase food, it just increases tax. That's fine. This is a very profitable settlement. We're probably gonna settle like maybe here, it depends. We have wild game. Oh, this increases food. Nice. And this increases the value of silk because there's mulberry bushes and you can get the insects from them. You produce silk from the silkworms. They eat mulberry. There are copper. I think there are 3 different type of mines you can build. You can build a jade scrape, you can build a copper mine, and you can build a gold mine. I don't think iron is an actual thing you can build. You can research iron, but it just creates an iron foundry that makes iron for trading, just like here. The bronze making foundry that just makes bronze for trading. I think that's it actually. Let's see here. You can only build like farms enough for how many people you have in your town. So for example, we can only have 8 farms for now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms. Okay, good. 6, 7, 8. There we go. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit slow at times. We cannot build farms on the gentle hills yet because we need terraced farms, I think it's called, in order to do that. We cannot chop down woods either because we don't have bronze making yet, even though our sweet man has some bronze armor. Maybe it's copper actually. It doesn't really matter. Well, what did I want to say? I really like the Chinese period of times because they have like interesting type of weapons. The dagger axe, for example, it's essentially just a war pickaxe. It's a dagger on a handle. It's amazing. Just imagine getting stabbed by that one. Just imagine getting stabbed at all, but Let's see here. I think I want to capitalize on the copper there. Maybe I should build like here or here. Beginning, I don't think it really matters because you just want to get towns down, really. So get one. I think this would be a nice location. Maybe. I don't want to put it too far away from the river, really, but I don't want to put it too close to my capital. Let's just go there, actually. Now you. I think I want to capitalize on the rhinos first and foremost, really. Is there any special thing? Can you build farms on it? Controls or has adjacent territory to deserts? Okay, that's fine. Let's build it there. And let's put my faction leader on. Just go explode it. Just do whatever. Since we lost the capability, we lost 2 people. Well, we didn't lose them, but when we built the settler and spent 2 population, we didn't. Our town devolved to the state where we can't recruit noble units anymore. I think that activates at level 10, and like every. I don't know the increments, but every population I think adds to the pool. I don't know if you consume population to build this. I don't think you do. You don't. Let's see here. I built this guy just so I have something to explore with, really. So there we go. Don't really know what I want to do more than that. Ah, right, technology. Let's see here. I usually start with ceramics, which increases, like, it makes you able to build a pottery. I think that just is flat income. If you trade it away. Yeah, I don't think the building itself just creates income. I think you have to trade it between your settlements. I can show you the trade later. But it leads to ceramic roof tiles, which like almost negates every bad thing about earthquakes, and it reduces the effectiveness of fire, for example. You really want to have these things because events can really, they can really stack up if you don't. We start out with agriculture. Let's research military drill, because authority and peasant long spearmen. I don't really like the peasant long spearmen because they don't have shield, which reduces their armor. And in thought, I usually like to go for yin and yang. It gives us one culture, but next, the Wei key increases the key of all new characters, which is like our heir, and if our entire family dies, the new guys. The key is how good they are in battle. Yes, if this guy commands a stack, his key increases the combat efficiency of the stack he's in. The Ren, his virtue, increases the happiness. Well, it reduces unrest. It doesn't increase happiness. That's good to know, because there are 2 separate things. It also improves the morale of all units in the stack he's leading. Morale can be a very, like, peasant units are peasant units. Like, they have very low morale. They can fight however good they want, but if they lose morale, they're just gonna run away. And I've lost a lot of towns just to like peasant units just running away. It's like, okay, they enter combat with a nobleman unit and they lose like 10 guys out of a group of 60, and then they just run away. And like the enemy noble unit just runs into the town and takes it, and it's unfortunate. It happens. You also have a personal authority. It adds to your overall authority, but you will lose it when he dies. These stats are not set in stone, by the way. They can increase. You can find events on the map that increases it, and when he grows older, he like the man himself, he loses ki because his body, like, you know how people do when they get old. We decay and die, and we lose physical power. But it increases his virtue, his ability to lead troops because of experience and stuff like that. What else? It also tracks how many battles you've won, and I think that might lead to experience. I don't really remember. I don't think it's been relevant for me in the beginning. I've only won one type of this game before, and it's been a long time since I had this game installed. I just recently reinstalled it because I just like this game a lot. I had good fun memories, so I would like to play it. Anyway, let's just get this show on the road, shall we? As you can see, I can only like queue up orders, and the guy will go where I tell him to, but he doesn't do it immediately. Whenever I press the button, everything just starts simulating. Let's go a turn and I'll show you. Oh, technology warning. I didn't actually press something here. Let's get I don't know, calendar. Here we go. And as you can see, everything just starts moving. Currently we have it on normal speed. I usually triple speed it, and they start moving. Go. Now we know a little bit more about the world. Recruit and all circle. Yeah, we've already done that. What is this? 2 peasants. That's pretty unexpected this early. Let's send my troops here and rendezvous. Can I? No, I can't. That's fine. Yeah. It's just I'll show you the combat mechanics once we actually get close to it. There we go. Let's settle this town right here. Yang and Yangdi. I think I might have enough space here to put one like somewhere here. Maybe it depends. No, here maybe. Yeah. Yes, here would be probably nice. If you place a town like on a square next to forest, the tiles right next to the village is cleared. We got all of these. Nice, good. Let's start queuing up some farms. It doesn't really matter where you put them. I don't think it like affects the income from the rhinoceros here at all. Let's have him stand there. You can't actually recruit anything in a newly populated town because of, well, there's no people to recruit really. As you can see, they have 2 pop each right here, and they're building farms, and our population in our capital is back up to 10. We could recruit a noble unit right now, but I'm not going to. It's not relevant yet, and I don't want to spend the income. Oh, it recalculated. Nice. This is gonna be really important, like having these tiles here. There we go. Stack without orders. Yes, let's go. I usually have that alert on because I tend to forget moving things if I send out population. Ah, nice. It's winter. It's actually pretty far between. I should have placed it like one over. I usually just like to have 2 spaces between cities. It doesn't really matter if you're a horde, but it like the length between different cities can be hard to control if you're a farming faction, because you have to patrol it with troops and moving troops between cities to like prevent the bandits from razing your towns. It can be difficult to protect everything if there's too large a distance between your towns. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm gonna shut this video down soon. It's almost been half an hour. Here we are. Here's our people. They have a shirt. They have a small shield and a spear. And the buttons down here, we can rotate them to set them up before battle, which is good because you don't want them facing one way and then entering battle, because then they have to turn around and you're wasting time. So let's tell them to attack this peasant right here. And as there are different types of formations, I can tell them to go in a column. which means that the dagger man goes first and the peasant later. But I tend to want to put them in a line, because then they attack. It doesn't really matter when we're fighting 2 on 2. It could matter if there were more of them than us, because if they engage my noble unit with with 3 or more units, for example, he's probably gonna die and run away before this guy enters combat. It's a little bit wonky like that. Hold on. There we go. It's been half an hour, but I'll go a little bit over. Here we have our formations. I can tell every single unit to behave differently. I can tell them to attack. I can tell them to just charge, which increases their melee attack bonus, and they gain a defense penalty. Usually don't tell people to outright charge, unless they are chariot units, because that you want the chariot unit to just drive over the enemy. Harass is good to have on your cavalry units, or if you're only engaging with archers, for example. Outflanking can be good in bigger army battles, because if you have a wide line and you have cavalry on the edges, you want them to run around and attack the flanks. Ambush, I haven't really used this, but it makes your army disappear. Cool. You can tell people to defend and just stand still and wait for enemies to come, which is good during which is good for defending rivers or defending slopes or stuff like that. It also gives you a defense bonus. Support is good. If you just want to have if you want your army to stand still but your archers to harass, then you can put your front line to support. So when your archers runs away from the enemy and starts shooting from behind, they'll go into support instead of just charging ahead. Then you can just tell them to withdraw, which we won't do. I'll tell them to just attack. Now I'll show you this before we exit here. High noble unrest, because we have insufficient authority. We have civil war danger, but I think that won't affect us yet. I don't think we can actually reduce the noble unrest yet. Since we have so much money, I'll just recruit a noble axeman and see if that helps. I think that only affects suppression for... Yes, it only affects suppression for peasants. It doesn't matter. I don't think I've ever had a civil war. It would be cool to see. Well, it wouldn't be cool to see it, because that would probably end this run prematurely if our capital revolts. It depends. After this battle, I think I might run my general back, because his 2 virtue will help suppress the town. Anyway, without further ado, let's just do this. Now they enter combat. Now they need to line up. This is bad, because now he's further ahead than this guy, and they are deploying weirdly. But it's kind of good that they're surrounding him, because now he can attack in every direction, you know? That's good. And the dagger axe unit of our commander is significantly more powerful than the bandits, but he's actually killing a lot of our troops. Are you gonna engage at all? Because this could be bad if you don't. I really hope our faction leader don't die. If that guy with the special armor was our faction leader, then he already has died. This is this is a very bad showcasing of how the battle works, because this guy has been derping out the entire time. I've never seen this happen before. It's interesting to say the least. I think we're gonna lose this unit completely, because there's just too many deaths. So it's wavering. Could you push? Go on. There we go, he's running away. This guy is probably gonna survive. The other one took a lot of casualties. He might not survive, it depends. Let's see what happens here. Oh good! He lived! Nice. There he is again. So he survived the battle. That's surprising, to say the least. You gain every unit if they fight battles, gain experience, and it increases their effectiveness and stuff like that. You, my good sir, are gonna go back home and punish. That's what you're gonna do. You increased in ki because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, obviously. He's won a battle and it was a clear victory. We lost 27, killed 57. It was bad actually. Well, that's enough for now. Next time I'll talk about trade and how that affects different settlements and stuff like that. So thank you for watching and see you next time.